Hi, my name is Michelle, and today's blog is about co-sleeping is ruining my marriage. Yep, you heard it. So all new parents will have this challenge, and I've heard this debate ongoing for years and years. And it's one that I never thought that I would have because co-sleeping was just not an option in my house. So I will tell you that I have three kids, and the age span is I have an 11-year-old daughter, I have a 14-year-old son, and I have a 2.5-year-old son as well. So this is my second marriage. We are a blended family. With my first two kids, I prided myself on routine, routine, routine. And even when that thunder rolled, and even when the monsters were crawling out of the bed, the kids did crawl in momentarily until they fell asleep. But every morning they woke up in their own beds because that's how it should be. So when we brought baby home this time, it was a lot different. Baby cried nonstop whenever we put him in his crib to sleep. So uh, the other part is that I was suffering a postpartum depression. I never did that with the first two. It was really foreign to me. And in order to gain some sanity, we began co-sleeping. Um, yeah. And whether I slept or not is really irrelevant because I think I spent just as much time awake worrying about whether my husband was going to roll over on the baby or whether the baby was, had rolled over and couldn't reposition himself. Just all of these things. So I probably didn't achieve any sleep co-sleeping anyways. But what it did was provided an opportunity for a space to grow between me and my husband, which gradually got bigger and bigger and bigger as the sleepover extended. We tried multiple different strategies to get baby in his crib, just didn't work, and we were exhausted, not functioning well on any level. So we just continued. Unfortunately, we live in a very small home. Hadn't anticipated having a baby as soon as we did, and there just wasn't a room for him to have his own space. So co-sleeping just was a forced situation, if you will, that is ongoing. So despite the renovations, we had a lot of different things going on. My husband had a couple of surgeries. My daughter became ill. And renovations just, never finished. So the things that I prided myself in my first relationship, and I swore by making my relationship a priority with my husband, making sure we had time to connect every day, that we had time to connect weekly away from the kids, and that the kids were in bed on time so that opportunity existed. It didn't happen with this third child. And at this point, nearly 3 years now, our relationship may not be repairable. And it really disheartens me because deep, deep, deep inside, I know that we could have an amazing relationship. Now, there are other pieces to this, of course. It's not solely on co-sleeping. Um, I've already mentioned some of them, and it's really not important to get into them. But what is important is that we are a blended family. So my husband has difficulty connecting with my two older children, despite having been introduced at a very early age of 3 and 6, roughly. There is just a disconnect that happens. And what I have learned is we need to ensure that our parenting values are in alignment, and that we do have opportunity to speak and to share and to come to compromise and to sit down and ensure that the activities we engage in as a family empower us to be who we are, to enjoy the things that are important to us individually and as a family. And if those things don't exist, then you're setting yourself and your family unit and your relationship up for failure. When we don't appreciate the needs of everyone in in the circumstance and we don't do our best to support growth and love and connection, um, and we are all in survival mode, we're truly not living. So is co-sleeping the answer for you? Um, Please consider the pros and cons to what I've shared with you today, and make a decision that's right for you. At the end of the day, it's about communicating. It's about being authentic and making choices that are appropriate and in alignment with who you are and how you want your life to look.